What is going on, guys? It's Kojo Forex. Today I'm back again on new screens with another very good YouTube video that is going to change the game for you. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to trade the London session like a pro, right? So if you guys know, I've been trading the London session since I started actually my trading journey. Why? Because coincidentally, I, coming from Ghana, tend to find my trading zones being the same as the London market, which is basically the center of the financial market. So it tends to happen that for the most part, when it's like 7 a.m. in Ghana, it's 7 a.m. in London, and when it's like 9 a.m. in Ghana, it's the same 9 a.m. in London as well, which is basically a coincidence and totally perfect for my trading condition. Because of that, I perfected trading the London session. It does not necessarily mean that if you don't come from Ghana or any of the sub-regions, then you cannot trade a London session. You can look at how it correlates or tallies with your time zone and then trade those sessions subsequently. Now, in this video, I'm going to teach you how I have, over the years, been able to practically sort by my chart and then trade a London session. It tends to usually be the most volatile time zones to trade on the market, right? But what most people get it wrong is they don't tend to understand what currency pair to watch in what time zones. So in the next series of videos, this one is basically how to trade the London session like a pro. Next video is going to be how to trade the New York session like a pro, and I'm going to show you what currency pairs to look out for. We're going to also look into how to trade the Asian session like a pro. I'm going to literally list out the currency pairs to watch for what time zones and then what trading session, so that you can be able to maximize your potentials in the market. Because we are looking at the London market and then how to trade the London session like a pro, I may want to now list out what currency pairs you really want to be watching during the London session. You guys know that when we're talking about London, then we're talking about the Great Britain. And then we're talking about Great Britain, we're talking about the currency pair that they spend, which is the pound sterling. So you want to look at cross pairs that has pounds in them. So for London session, you really want to be looking at GBP USD, which is the pound versus the dollar, GBP Swiss franc, GBP CAD, GBP JPY, and then Euro GBP, right? You really want to be looking at these five when it comes to looking into trading the London session. I don't really recommend you really watching any other pair when you're particularly interested in trading the London session during those time zones or during those time differences, right? Now, next thing you should also focus on is that when you really want to understand what it transmits into the chart, depending on what you're looking at, how you're going to be able to identify that this time zone that I'm trading, every movement is actually replicating what is happening on the London session. Every movement is literally spelling out what is happening on the London session. Then you really can do that for the most part in the lower time frame. And then by lower time frame, I mean anything from the 1 hour below. So 1 hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, you can clearly see spelled out clearly that you're trading within this range. But if you're really looking at a 4-hour, daily, weekly, you're not really going to be able to tell as much what time zone you're looking at. So in this strategy or in this video, I'm going to be for the most part using the 1 hour and then sometimes the 15 minutes in spelling out how you can be able to spot out the London session and then trade it beautifully, right? So if you watch here on my screen, on the left side I have the 4-hour time zone, and then on the right side I have the 1 hour time zone, right? So you can clearly see that from my chart. I've taught you guys how I use the period separators to kind of break my sessions into ranges, right? In the sense that when you see from this vertical line here, this is basically everything that happened for GBP USD the whole of last week, and then this one here spells out everything that happened for GBP USD the whole of last 2 weeks. This one is last 3 weeks, and so on and so forth, looking at it from the 4-hour perspective. But when we come here, this is everything that happened for GBP USD on Friday. This one has to do with everything that happened for GBP USD on Thursday. This one is what happened on Wednesday. This one is on Tuesday, and here is from Monday. So we're going to use this week out here to look at how we could have taken advantage when we wanted to trade the London session, right? So you may be wondering, how was I able to break my chart? Did I manually draw these lines out here on my chart, or what did I do to get these lines spelling out the sessions, right? So if you want to get these lines on TradingView, all you got to do is right click on your chart and then come to the settings. Once you come to settings, you're going to see session breaks, right? So when I remove the session breaks, you can clearly see that there are no vertical lines there. Again, when I click back on the session breaks, you can see that the lines reappear. Usually you see them in a dotted line, but I chose to make mine the thin lines plus these colors so that it just does not conflict or just make my whole chart looking haphazardly, right? So once you're able to get that plugged in, then you have a great thing going on, right? You can clearly look at the market from this angle. Now remember, again, like I said, that if you want to identify the time zones and the sessions, remember that we usually have, the Asian session, the London session, and then the New York session, right? Now look at how it works. They work equally 24 hours around the clock, which is like 8 hours for the most part for the London session, 8 hours for the New York session, and then 8 hours for the Asian session, which at the end of the day sums up to 24 hours. So if you want to look at how it transmutes or how it literally means on the chart, we want to start from the beginning of the day, spells out for the most part the Asian session, and then the latter part of the 8 hours also spells out the New York session. So you have the London session literally being the mid one. So here again would have the Asian, then we have the New York here, and then we have the London in the middle. Asian, New York, London in the middle. Asian, New York, London in the middle, right? So like I said, you tend to find that the Asian is not as much the most volatile one. Then the London and the New York tend to be the most volatile one, right? So one trick that you must also understand is that when you're looking at the London session, it kind of has a very close relationship with the New York session because we have what we call time overlap, where we have the New York session opening during a time zone where the London session is still trading. So London session will usually open from 6 a.m. and then trade all the way to like 2 p.m. right? So in the same time zone, you usually will have New York session sometimes opening at 12 p.m. in the afternoon and then trade all the way to 8 p.m. So what you tend to have is that between 12 and then 2, there's an overlap between the London session and then the New York session. It means that both time zones are trading at the same time, which also means that there's going to be a lot more volume on the market than the regular. So once you have those intertwines, then sometimes you want to sit by your chart and trade the London session all through into the New York session, right? Rather than sitting from the Asian session all through to the London and then to the New York. You really want to sit from the London session and sometimes all through to the New York session, right? So how to trade the London session like a pro? I still maintain my same concept when I want to trade the London session, right? All this time, all I'm doing is just looking at day trading basis for it, right? So if you can look here on the 4-hour basis, we can clearly see that for here we kind of hit this resistance region out here and then kind of giving me the vibes that the market is going to trade on the downside. But if I want to intraday trade this one, then I'm looking at how I can interpret this on the hourly basis, still literally signifying the same reasoning on the market from the 4-hour perspective, right? So here you can see that it wouldn't make as much sense trying to catch this trade for a sell because we're looking at this resistance region and the market has not visited this region just as yet, right? But if you look here, then you can see that in the New York session, then the market gets into those zones, right? And then kind of trades and lingers around all through to the Asian session. Then the London session open and volume just sets in. So this is where I want to start looking for my short position for my sells, right? During the London session and then stay in this trade all through. So the market literally gives me the full potential of pip that I'm looking for, right? Then you can see that during the New York session, the market kind of pulls back and then consolidates and trade to the Asian session, right? In this case, if I want to trade a London session still, then I'm looking at within this range, right? When there are perfectly no reason for me to look out for a trade setup, I totally ignore trading on that day and then stay on the side or sit on my hands, right? Unless, of course, you are a breakout trader and then you want to just mark out this support level. And then when the market literally breaks out from this range, you want to sell in continuation from that range, then that's perfect. But because I like to, catch these sniper and trade setups, then I tend to usually ignore the breakout setup. But it's a setup that you can actually also trade, right? Like I said, the London session intertwines with the New York session. So once you have volume setting in market breaking this range like that, you clearly want to jump in for a sell here and then trade the New York session right off the closure of the London session. You can put your stop loss some few pips away from this range or if you want to be very conservative, you put your stop loss above the candle like this. Right now, going forward, you can see that. So this is what happened on Monday, this is what happened on Tuesday, and then let's look at what happened on Wednesday as well. So if you look at what happened on Wednesday, you can clearly see that for the Asian session, the market was just consolidating. Market was consolidating throughout the Asian session, and then when the market just opened in the London session, then we had this breakout here. So this is exactly where you want to trade the market when that Asian session range has been broken. You want to jump in for a buy setup here and then put your stop loss beneath it. But again, if you want to be conservative, then you want to put your stop loss here just to be on the safer side, and then you tend to enjoy this London session pip movement, right? The same thing happening on the next day, where you have the Asian session literally lingering around, and then the London session not doing as much, but right off upon getting into the New York session, then you have this market literally trickling down. So you want to also be conservative and put your stop loss above the range when you're looking for a setup like this, and then trade the London session all the way going into the New York session from here, right? So if you take your time to backtest this reasoning from GBP, JPY, GBP CAD, GBP CHF, and Euro GBP, you're going to tend to see similar patterns occurring concurrently, and that is how you can trade the London session like a pro every morning all through to the afternoon. Let's say 3, 4, or maximum 5 hours in a day, and make insane pay potential and make a lot of money on the market. If you love this video and want me to go on deeply into breaking down even some of the insightful strategies like this, then smash the like button and subscribe to this channel, and then click in the link in the description to join the Codifier Telegram community, currently running around 33k subscribers. Link up with me on Instagram at KOJOFOREX, but don't message me on Facebook. If you see any Facebook profile, it's usually a fake one, and TikTok as well, right? I'm not very active there. Nonetheless, I have a Facebook and then Instagram account, and the name is still KOJOFOREX, Kojofor, especially on TikTok, right? There's a fake guy on TikTok literally using my name to, message people and stuff like that. The name is not KOJOFOREX. My name on all social media stands to be Kojoforex, KOJOFOREX. Without wasting much time, I hope you guys really loved this video and then it was insightful.